Yeah, Divya, we are live now. You can start.
Hi- Thank you, Kranti. Hello, everyone. So, this is midweek. So, let's not go into the too complicated topic, and also let's not go with a very simple topic, also. So, today let's see how to start with the macros. So, yeah, as soon as I said macros, everybody will be thinking about the VBA code, and it's more difficult, and how to start from the scratch. But to be frank, as a developer like me, uh, who doesn't know exactly how to start the macro, completely just writing the program, there are a couple of ways we can just go ahead and hack it. So let's see how to do that. So today I have taken the scenario where I have one of the report. So, and in this report I do have multiple totals. So in this concept I do have six totals here. I need to pick all these six totals, and I just have to go with respect to the specific pivot tables, and I just have to click on refresh for a couple of fields. And as soon as I click on refresh in this pages, the tab, the tables, I mean the total summary in this will be refreshed and updated. So now what I have to do is like I have to open this Excel, pick all the totals and keep them in the variables. Then again go to some specific pages, click the refresh of that specific cell. Then after it gets refreshed, whatever the value which will be updated in the totals, I just have to pick them again and then have to compare whether it has been updated or whether it is not updated. So this is the thing, this is the use case which we are going to work on today, right? So obviously we can achieve this in UiPath itself by using like Excel application scopes and the loops and all the activities which we do have. But just the thing is like in when we are using a macros, whatever the actions which we are going to do on screen by using a UiPath, everything can be just run behind the screen. And with respect to the automation, when we are working with the reports and the other stuffs, macros is going to give us a fast results when compared to when we are trying to do a UI automation, right? So that's where I have chosen macros to go with this. So now I know what is this use case scenario, and I have not sure like how can I start with this. Okay, for that, what I just do is like I'll go to the macro, I'll just record one simple thing. Okay, so I'll just go to the cell. For cell, I'll do Control F. I'll go for the total. I'll search for totals and I'll click on Find Next. So now I found the totals, right? And then I can just click on again Find Next. I have this. I'll just close. Again, I'll just do Control F. Find Next. I find totals. So I just close and I'm just going to stop recording this. And now I'm going to edit this recording, I mean macros, however I want, right? So if we just look at this, I do have two different finds. So I don't want this because if, okay, today I have six and tomorrow I don't know how many number of totals which might comes. So how, even though if it comes more than six, my macro should be able to go ahead and process it. And we do have very few simple methods which we can use for. So let's see what we can just do. So now I need the totals and I just need one entry point where I can just go ahead and add that entry point in this, right? So what I'm just going to do is like first I'm going to declare one of the variable that's called vim and cell 1. So this will be like as string. So what I'm just going to do here is, as soon as I find the first cell of the total, wherever it found, I'm just going to take that as a cell. Why I'm going to do this is when I'm repeating the same action again and again, and the find, after it found the last totals in that specific page, automatically if I try to do the again find next, it will come to the first cell always, right? So just to check, okay, this is an end. I'm just going to take one of the referral cell address And when I'm doing next, and when I'm trying to find next, whenever it comes back to the cell which we got in the first time, then I'll consider that as my entry point. So that is my end of the loop, right? So yeah, here I do have range, and since I do have the couple of sheets, I just have to go and activate the specific worksheet which I want to work on, right? So I do have this method called worksheets of triple quote. You just have to mention your which is a worksheet which you want to work on. Then you can just give activate. So this is going to activate our worksheet. And I know my worksheet is summary tables. And what I'm just going to do is like I'll do control C, I'll come back here and add that control C. So I'm just going to activate this, and in the worksheets, I'm always going to set my range as A1. So it is just like always, let's go with the summary tables, and then I'll activate that. Once I'm done with the activation of the worksheet, I'll go to the first cell of that specific sheet, and from then I'll start finding the cell which contains the totals. So now, okay, I have reached one of the search, and now I want to know what is that specific cell value there, right? So for that, what I can just do is like I have taken this cell one as a string, right? I just go ahead, I'll take the cell one, assign the value as, I'll take the address of the active cell. So since we have in the find next, we have activated the cell where it found totals, right? So what I'm just going to do is like I'll do this active dot, sorry, not active, active cell dot address. Okay, so just to make sure, since I know this is not a very user friendly environment, so let's just go ahead and debug, and let's see what we are getting in cell one, right? So if you want to see any of the values, you can just always do control G, but for that you should do this print G. So what I'm just going to do is debug dot print is equal to cell 1. So let's see whether we are getting the proper cell or not. So I'm just going to run this worksheet. Okay, just a minute. Okay, worksheets WRKS dot of tables dot activate correct basic. Okay, start with this. Okay, stop this. Run range select method. That's fine. Sub macro, this is correct. And I have extracted one, this is correct. And okay, and I just activate this as sub macro. Okay, that's sheets of summary tables not activate should work. Just give me a minute. I'm just trying to compare what is a different thing which I have got here. Control. Run as time, then Okay, just trying to close this. Kranti, am I audible?
Yes, Divya.
Hello.
Yeah, Divya.
Hello.
Yeah, Divya, we can hear you.
Kranti, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just a minute. I'm finding.
Sorry, guys. Seems like there is an internet issue with Divya. She'll join in immediately.
Hello.
Hi, Divya.
I'm sorry, Kranti. I'm sorry, guys. There was. Let me know once you guys are able to see my screen.
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Cool. Okay, so I'm just starting from the beginning here. Um, Option. I'm just going to leave these things for now. Option. Macro. I'll just go here. Starting with this. Control F. Find. Okay, close. Again, I'll just find next, and I'll close. I'll just go to the other sheet, and I'll select this. Close. Stop recording. Okay, and then I'll go back to summary tables. I'll go here, then view macro. I have this just recorded one. I'm just going to start editing it. Okay, so here, yeah. So first, in the entry, I just have to go with specific sheet. Okay, so let's go with that. In the sheets, I just have to go for the summary tables. So I'll go to the summary tables, rename it, Control C. I'll come back and I'll add this. And I just have to go for A1. And I should just start with the A1. And I'm just going to delete this repeated method, which is called to search for the total itself. My specification is my requirement is now it is just 6 totals. well, there might be a chances where it is going to add more than 6 in our future. So in that case, I just have to able to handle that, right? So for that case, I'm just going to add one of the variable called dim cell1 as string. Okay, and here I'm going to this and I'm just checking where I'm able to get this cell. So in that cell 1, I'm going to add a address cell 1 is equal to, I have basically whatever the cells which was able to find with the totals that will get activate at this specific search. So what I'll do is like I'll take activate cell dot active cell, not activate, active cell dot address. Address. I'm assigning to that. So let's see whether we are getting the proper value or not. So for that, debug dot print of cell 1. Okay. And I'm just going to put one breakpoint here and then I'm going to run this. Run. Sheet class failed. Okay, I got to know. We are just trying to do this inside of the worksheet. So what I'll just do is I'll select this work and I'll go here. Inside of this, I'm going to write this module A, Control C. Since I have made a lot of modifications in my previous things, Uh, okay, close. Just give me a minute. Okay, daily stream. I do have two files open. I'm just going to close this, close, and close, and I'll just close this as well. And here I'm just going to create a copy of this file before I just go on to any of the modifications. Right. Okay, I'll just open this. And this has been closed. Now, self output. Okay. Now I just want to open this file. Okay. And yeah, I'll just give enable editing. Enable content. Okay. Yes. Control save. I can just go here to the macros. Okay. View macros and macro. I do not have anything. Record macro. Come here. Open. Okay. Control F totals. Next. Close. Control F. Find next and close. Option. Stop recording. Okay. I'll just go here. View macros. And I'm going to edit this. And in this, I'm just making sure there is no other things over here. Okay, the files has been uploaded with respect to this. I have 4 sheets. Okay, so okay, and here I have two different things. One is going to add one variable called cell1 as string. Okay. And here in this range, I'm just going to add this with cell 1 is equal to cell 1 active cell dot address. Okay, and here I need to add this. Okay. So let's try to run this first and run. Okay, now I got to know this is okay. And before ending, I'll just add one more thing. So now my cell is C14. I got it, like I found the totals in C14. So I'm just going to stop this. So just to make sure you don't have to go and debug it every time. So for that, if you want to see that output, you can add a method called debug dot print is equal print of cell 1. So you will get to know what is the value which is there in the cell 1. Right? So now I know what is the value in the cell, what is the address of the cell 1. And now what I want is what is the value inside of that address. So for that, I'm just going to add one more value called dim, and I'll take like since this is a stream totals, I'm just going to take S total and I'll take that as double. Okay, and now I know what is the cell address which is found with the total, and I know always the total value will be there on the next column in the same row. So now I have to traverse that specific cell to the next right side of that specific cell. So what I'll do is like now I'll move the active cell to the next cell. Active cell dot, there is something called the offset. In the offset method, you can mention how many number of rows and the columns you have to traverse. So I just give, I don't want to traverse with respect to the rows, and I just want to move with one column, right? So I'm just going to add that. Expected equals, oh yeah, okay, and dot select, because I want to select that specific dot select. Okay, so now you will be able to get this value. So now my current active cell has been traversed next one cell next to the total static board. So now I'm just going to assign this to S totals. I'm just going to pick this S total is equal to the active cell, whatever the active cell which do I have is it's already selected. So what I'll do is just there as a selection is selection dot SENCDION, okay, value, right? So now I have this, I have already selected this specific active cell, and from that selected value I'm just going to take this value to the S2, and I'm just going to debug dot print of this S total. Control C, Control V, and I'm just going to save this. Okay, I'm not going to save this to the workbook though. I'm just going to run this. So I have the cell, and if you just look at this, at the cell C14, I found a static word called totals and the total value. So if you just look at my report, the value which is next to the totals is 858, which I was able to get as a value which by using a traversing. So now I have a cell 1 and I have the totals value as a 858. So my next condition is I just have to keep on looping and add all the values to the array. Why? Because I need to keep the record of each and every row, and then I have to go ahead and pick it up like from that specific sheet. After refreshing the value, whatever the value which has been updated, I just need to go ahead and compare them. So now I have this active cells. I'm just going to remove this breakpoint. Okay, this is my cell, and here I do have this active cells, and I'm just going to do some formatting just for the understanding purpose. Okay, so now I'm going to add another variable called cell2. Trim cell2 as string. Right. So now I have two different cells. So for now, like just to compare the cells, if we get the cell values, we will be able to get the values also as the same, right? So what I'll do is, like, now I have first cell, I have the first value also. So I'm going to write one of the do while loop. Do while working with DPA is hello. Kranti, am I audible?
Yes, Divya.
Okay. So one quick thing is, as soon as you write that specific function, you will be able to get the, if that specific function is available in our VBA, it will be just automatically highlighted with this blue color. That's one simple thing which we can just go ahead and have a look, right? Then I'm just going to add cell 1 or cell 2 is not equal to cell. So here, until these two are equal, I'm writing a condition until cell 1 and cell 2 are not equal, then you just have to keep on performing the same action. What is this? That action is this finding the totals. Okay, I'm just going to copy the same thing and paste it here. So I'm inside of the cell do while, and I'm finding the cell of the totals until the cell 1 address and cell 2 address are the same thing. So now I have to track the cell 2 address as well. So for that, I'm going to assign cell 2 is equal to, so same as the above one, like I'll just take the, yeah, control C, and you can just paste it here. Okay, so now I'm again taking the active cell to the cell 2, and then I'm just taking I'm just taking the values also inside of that, and then, okay, okay, cool. So I can have it here. So let's see what comes as a cell 2 and what comes as a cell 1. And active cells, and I'm just going to take another cell s total 2 as a variable. Trim is total 2 as double. Okay, and I'm just going to assign this uh, is total 2 as selection dot value. Control V is equal to selection dot value. Okay, control V value. And once we have started the loop, we should mention that where the loop should end. Okay, so I'm just going to add loop. So it should be keep on looping till here. And I'm just going to add this print for cell 2 and value 2. Okay, control V, cell 2 and totals 2. Okay, save. Okay, I'm just going to debug this. I this debug here and then here, and let's run this. Run. Okay, I'll go to the next one. Now I have the cell value, and I also have the uh, subtotals. Yeah, for one more thing is like you just have to keep on refresh this by manually. It will not be adding any of that by itself. Okay, so I'm just going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then stop. So I know there were 6 totals and I was able to get all the 6. So if you just look at this, 85, 858, 858, 7311, 191, and it's the original thing, and also the address. Okay, this is how you can just loop and break the loop by using a VBA to traverse the same actions again and again until the condition is going to true, right? So now what I'll do is like I want to loop, and of course I have an array and I just have to keep on add that to the array, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to declare another variable dim I as long, and I'm just going to take dim j as long. And also, since I want to add the value inside of an array, what I'm just going to do is like I'm just going to declare an array, then int log. No, you have to process int total of 6. Okay, as variant. So you can take the array as a variant. And also, I'm just going to take another one, same variant as update total. So here I have taken the default value as 6. While you're working with the real time, you don't need to go and add this 6 here itself. So you can just declare a array without the size, and you can just go ahead and work with that. And then after that, whenever there is a necessary, you can initiate that with specific size and the length. Okay, and also I am just going to initiate this I equal to 0. Okay, and also we can take j equal to 0. And so now I know, like I want to add whatever the values which I'm getting in s total. I want to add all those values inside of this int total in the beginning, right? So in this, what I'm just going to do is here I'll do I'm just going to take this int total, control P of I, okay, of I is equal to, I know this is already saved in S total, control C, and we can just paste it here. And I just need to add, I just need to increase the I value for every instance of the loop. So I'm just going to do is I is equal to I plus 1. I plus 1. So I'm just going to loop it again, and I'm just going to, let it be this. And let's see whether it is values are adding into an array or not. Okay. Yeah. I have one debug here, one debug here, and one at the end. Okay, let's run this. Okay, run, 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 run. We are inside of the loop, so it's going to just execute at 4 times, sorry, 6 times, and ends up. And if I just look at this, array is empty. Okay, I'll show you how to iterate that values of array also. Okay, this is it's since it's taking as an I, it is just throwing values this one. So here I'm just going to, if you want, you can how to display the values inside of an array. So now I have added all of that. So I'm just going to remove this. Okay, and end. So now I know this int total is my array. I'm just going to stop this, and I can go for I is equal to, there's something called lower bound and the upper bound in VB script, which we can just always use. Instead of we specifically search for that specific array values of the lower bound and the upper bound, we can just go ahead and use them. Bound of int total. Okay, yeah, I'm going to add that of this lower bound for from the lower bound to, I need it till the upper bound of this. Control V and just change this to upper bound, and then I'm just going to display the value debug dot print of int total of I, and then I can just go ahead and add next. So let's see whether we are getting all the values inside of an array or not. Okay, so I'm sorry for this. So here I'm just going to add one more. I'm going to remove this from the loop. I can just have it here, not inside of the loop. Okay, and I'm just going to remove all this, and also, okay, and I'm just going to remove this values also, which I don't need anymore, and I'm just going to run this. Okay, one. Okay, so if you just look at this, we have got all the values which is inside of an array. So all the values which has been added inside of an array. So if we just want to cross verify, we can just go back to our summary sheet, and I do have in the summary sheet, I have two 858, 170, and then again two 191 and one totals. This is how you can always go ahead and loop by using a for each. By using a for and for using a do while, we will be able to go ahead and add, extract all the values whichever we want, and then we will be able to get all the values. So now I'm done with the first iteration. So now I want to go with the second iteration where the action is the same after the update. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to initialize cell 1, cell 1 is equal to null, and cell 2 is equal to null. And I just want to perform the same actions again. So I'm just going to copy the same thing. Okay, Control C. This is my after update. So in between these two, I need to update the sheets. So how I'm going to do this is, okay, uh, yeah, I just here, and here my requirement is in this specific page, I have to go to the stream pivot tables and I have to refresh on this specific cell called B8, right? So for that, what I can just do is go back to my macros and I'm just going to add work widths of same pivot table dot activate. Okay, and I'm just going to go here, copy the sheet name, rename, Control C. I'll come back here and paste. I'm just going to activate that specific sheet, and then I'm just going to go for the specific range of, I want to go for the B8 in this. Okay, stream pivot. Let's check what is the cell value is. Okay, B9. I'm just going to activate that range B9 dot activate, and now I have to click on the refresh. So there are multiple ways to click on the refresh, but I think most of them it's going to fail when we are working with the worksheets. So one best way to refresh always is just go ahead and activate the automatic calculation, and then again just after the automatic calculation, just again set that to the manual activation automation basically. So for that I'm just going to do application dot calculation should be there. Yeah, there is a calculation is equal to X automatic. So I'm just saying automatically you just go to this specific sheet and refresh it automatically. And just after that, I just do not want to make it available all the time. And I'm just going to just set to the manual again. Back to the manual is equal to manual. And I have done this for this specific sheet. And now I have to perform the same action for other sheet also. So I'm just going to copy paste the same thing and I'll pick the sheet name from this. So my next sheet name is pivot tables. Save. Go back to this and add that specific sheet name, and then let me check what is the cell value which we need to be refreshed in this is always B8. Okay, I'm just going to mention that as B8. I'm just going to mention that in B8. And now after I refresh again, I should come back to the summary sheet. Control C and Control V. Okay, activate. I'll just go and start with the from sheet pivot tables, and here again from the beginning I'm just going to start with the worksheet as summary, not as a Excel. So, rename, Control C, go back here, and starting from the summary tables, and we have done all the and we have done all the actions, and again we went to the stream pivot tables, refreshed, we went to the zoom pivot tables, refreshed, then again I have to come back to the summary and perform the same actions, and now after this, I do not want to update that to the int total again, because I need that in the specific, for the reference. So I'm just going to take this update total, and I'm going to update all these values to the update total. Okay, and here I'm just going to print all the values in the update. Control V. So let's try. Okay, and here I'm going back, cell 1, cell 2, I'm picking up the values and I'm assigning that to here and I'm adding to this. Okay, so I can just do this as J for now, because the previous value of I is 6. You don't have to use another, different variables. You can just always just go with same, but just make sure you're just going to reset those values when you're using the same variables for the next iteration. Okay, so let's run this. Run active methods. Okay, debug. Okay, just do this instead of this. Stop. So what I can also do is option. Okay, I'm just going to save this and I just stopped it. So when you're working with the worksheets and when you're working with the normal Excel, the methods will be just different, right? So what you can just do is, like, to get the specific methods, you can just go here, go to that specific sheet and click on this, and then come back to this and then click on some cell, and then go ahead and stop recording, and then you can just go back, view macros. Now I want to know what is there in the 6. Okay, just stop. Okay, and yeah, I have this. So what I can just do is always, like, I can just go ahead and have this methods. So when you're working with the workbooks, then the methods will be like workbook.activate. When you're working with the Excel, then it will be working with the sheets basically. So I'm just going to have this select, control C and control V. I'm going to, okay, and I'm just going to do the same thing here. Control, sorry. I'm just going to pick the same method. Let's see, I'm just going to remove all this. I don't want this macro to be run. Okay. And wherever I have used worksheets, I'm just going to replace this with the sheets. Since I'm working with the Excel files. Okay, this is the same. Select. Okay. And here. Control V. And I'll pick this file name. Control V. And I'll remove this. Okay, so, and again I just have to come here to the sheet, specific sheet. Control V. Okay. Control C, Control V, and just the name. Control and Control, and I can remove. Okay, let's see. L, follow. Okay, okay, I do have this, and I'm just going to remove these things and done. And I'm able to find this. Run. I'm able to get all the values in the I. Run. Okay, and run. Okay, So it updated, but even after the updated, we have not found any of the actual changes. So if both these are equal, then it just have to print fine. So here I can just add one more for I is equal to compound of this, okay, and control C, control V of this, if of if I total, that is nothing but my first total, just going to pick this name, the int total of, sorry, control Z, control C, I'm taking the same variable name, if of control V and of I is greater than, so there is a space in between, and this should be capital F, okay, is greater than the update total of I, update total of I, control C, control V of I, then then debug dot debug dot print is equal to updated. Debug dot print as updated, else updated, okay, else if same, if these two are equal, control C, control V, if these two are equal, then I'm just going to print not updated, control C, control V, then you just say not updated. So this, so just let's save this, okay, and then just go back, yeah, and then I'm just going to run this. Oh, sorry, I just make I for here. I just have to make next of I. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to stop this, and I'm just going to clear all this, delete, okay, and then run, run, okay, 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 okay. So this is how we will be able to add the condition. Since none of the values has been updated, even after the refresh of that specific cells, it is just giving the same values in my summary. And if it is updated, I'll be just get if the values is updated and if the values has been changed, we can just check. If this is for equals I have given, you can just give not equals also. If both of these are not equal, then definitely it is an updated. If both are equals, then it is not updated. So this is how we can just start with a simple recording for some of the actions, and then make use of while, do while, for, or if conditions, and write your own actions to achieve whatever the values you want. So basically it's all about the time. So if you just look at this, when I start running, it is not even taking milliseconds to complete the whole process. So if we do the same thing with the proper UI automation, it is going to take a lot of time. So where we will be able to find like we will be able to find so much of, not find, save so much of time when we are using a macros instead of a Excel UI automation. So this is about the basic macros. In our next sessions, there are options where we can pass this as arguments. So now I have taken this if and if else, and I'm just printing the values whether it is updated or not. So now, how to take these values as a arguments and use them in our UI path to generate the report and to send a report emails based on whether the updated or how, if it is not updated, how we can just integrate this macros inside of the UI path, and how we can play with the arguments. We will be seeing them in our upcoming sessions. So this is all about for today. Let me know if you guys have any questions with this.
No, Divya, we don't have any questions now.
Yeah. Thank you, Kranti.
Thank you so much, Divya, for the session.
Thank you.